everyone. It's Friday evening and we have a bunch of exciting news from the startup space. I'm Priya Sheth and a very warm welcome to all of you to the Daily Dispatch. On today's show, I'm going to be talking about the top 3 companies that have been in news today, and these include Mindtickle, Chirate Ventures, as well as Ixigo. Well, headline number 1, riding high on its latest funding round led by SoftBank, AI-based startup Mindtickle has become a unicorn. This would be India's 20th unicorn this year. Now, interestingly, the company had raised about $100 million in its latest funding round led by SoftBank, which brings its valuation to about $1.2 billion. Now, Mindtickle had raised about $100 million in November 2020 from SoftBank at a valuation of $500 million. Well, in the venture capital space, we have Chirate Ventures, who has closed their fourth fund at $337 million with an oversubscription of about 25%. With a cumulative AUM of approximately $950 million, Chirate Ventures has invested in more than 100 deals since its inception. Now, it marked the first close of its Fund 4 back in 2019 worth $115 million. Well, the final headline of the day in the acquisition space ahead of its IPO, travel startup Ixigo has acquired Hyderabad-based bus aggregator platform AbhiBus to provide a multimodal travel platform. Ixigo believes that this acquisition will help them work with a combined user base, technology resources, and develop expertise in the travel industry. Well, moving on to our second segment, I have with me someone who's been in news of late. The company's raised about 110 crore rupees. I have with me Mohit Yadav from Minimalist. Thank you very much, Mohit, for joining us today. I want to begin by asking you about your fundraise of 110 crore rupees. You've got some big investors on board. So what really is the kind of utilization plan out there?
So, first of all, Priya, thanks so much for having me on the show. So actually, we raised this money from Sequoia and Unilever, and the overall plan for the investment is to use this for broadly 3 things. One, of course, is to strengthen our R&D. Second is, as we manufacture our own product and not a single process is outsourced, so we are ramping up our infrastructure. So we're setting up a new factory and a lab to cater to the demand that we have. And last is on the expansion side. So right now, Minimalist is available in India, but in next 6 to 12 months, the plan is to target 1 or 2 more markets. So we will start with Southeast Asia, 1 country at a time, and then see how we take from there.
Before I go into your future plans, I want to ask you about Unilever Ventures. It's a very big investor, that's come on board. So tell us a little bit about what this really means, having a Unilever on board as an investor.
So Unilever, of course, is one of the global personal care brand, right? And not just in terms of financial part of the investment, they also bring a lot of strategical values. And even if you look at their portfolio in other markets, right? So they have done some great investments recently, including say Paula's Choice, right? So as a brand, it gave us ability to reach out to them wherever we feel there's a need, either in terms of distribution or in terms of other areas, right? Where we can gain strategically. So that's what they do.
Right. So synergistically, this is more of a partnership and an investment combined out there. I want to understand from you in terms of expansion into new categories, what is the kind of roadmap out there? I believe that, personal care, specifically the D2C space is here to grow and boom, specifically with the kind of uptake that we're seeing. So what kind of expansion do you have in terms of categories? What new products can we expect from your side?
Yeah. So right now, we do have close to 20 products in our portfolio and primarily in skincare, right? And a lot of those products, in fact, mostly all of our products are market agnostic. So either vitamin C, salicylic, niacinamide, these are not just popular in India, but popular globally, right? And even the market that we're looking at, be it Indonesia, Malaysia, and all, right? So expansion for us in that sense is easier because the products are not suited for one particular region or a set of people. And in terms of timeline, as I said, right, we should definitely be looking at one country in a quarter, most likely within Southeast Asia. And then we will plan ahead once we have some presence and some visibility in that region.
I wanted to understand in terms of distribution and expansion out there, will you be looking at primarily an online model to begin with? Are you looking at more of an omni-channel presence, considering that you have Unilever on board, so touch points may not be a very big issue if you have a partner as strong as Unilever coming on board?
Yeah. So we are a online first brand, and that's how we started even in India. So we started selling with on our own site, and then gradually added more partners, right? Be it Amazon, Nykaa, and now the brand is available at more than 8 or 9 different e-commerce partners, right? The same strategy holds true in our expansion also. So any new market that we are looking at right now, we will start with the leading online marketplaces, and then gradually we'll get into offline retail.
Right. In the offline space, will you be looking at more of a modern trade or mall kind of standalone outlets, or what kind of presence will you be looking at in the offline space?
So actually, I mean, if you'll ask me, say a 3 to 5 year horizon, right? It will be everything from general trade to modern trade to our own retail channel, right? But I guess more about phase-wise manner. So the first thing is partnering with a nice chain. Like in India, we are about to start our own retail through Nykaa, and then we will we are exploring some more before getting into then modern trade and then general trade, right? So the same set of levels will be followed in the newer markets. So first it is online, and then we will go towards the modern trade and then general trade, and then probably we'll have our own retail stores. So that is broadly what we look at in all the markets, starting from India and then of course to the newer markets.
I wanted to understand from your perspective in terms of, the growth metrics. If you could run us through what kind of growth percentages have you seen over the last couple of months, considering that everybody's moved to online shopping? And going forward, what kind of targets do you have in terms of overall growth?
Yeah. So actually, the growth in 9 months have been exceptional for us, and I think more than the numbers, right? Be it financials or the consumers, what really excites us is the way people responded to the brand. When we launched Minimalist, we thought people may be aware of a couple of those products, say like vitamin C, salicylic, because these are the terms we knew, right? People would have heard of, and there were brands offering similar such product, right? But anything and everything else, be it niacinamide, alpha-butin, tranexamic acid that we have, we thought it will require a lot of education because only a handful of people might be aware of that, but a larger consumer may not be. But we are honestly very happily surprised to know that there's a very high level of information that people have today, and they do understand what they're applying on their skin, what they're eating, and also staying right. So in terms of journey, uh, in just 9 month period, we have served more than 1 million consumer, and like last month that we closed, right, June, we are already at a run rate of 100 crore, which at the time of launch we thought will take more time, but it happened in a fraction of just 9 months, right? So that's exceptional probably for any brand even to aim for. And more than that, the way people responded to the brand values, right? So like as a brand, we stand for some very basic thing that create products which are exceptionally good in terms of performance, are backed by proven science, and then present them in the most radically transparent manner. So everything that you see on our site or product information on the bottles or the boxes, the ingredient, the concentration, the pH of the product, and even to the extent the suppliers from whom we are sourcing, right? If you want to know more information about those molecules and the research done by the suppliers themselves, and this kind of information on the transparency is kind of unheard even globally, and people responded really well to that, and that basically led to the growth that we see.
In terms of revenue at the end of FY22, what kind of revenue targets do you have?
So we think we should be exiting at 200 crore run rate, which is March 2022. Yeah.
All right. On that note, we wish you all the very best, and we do hope that you clock the 200 crore rupee revenue that you have in research. Thank you so much for your time, and thank you so much for being a part
Thanks,
of the
Peter.
Daily Dispatch.
Well, time now to wrap up this edition of the Daily Dispatch. I'll catch you next week on Monday at 5 p.m. Goodbye and have a lovely weekend.